From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Good Monday morning. We had some very active weather over the weekend, and here are the fruits of that as we still have a couple fires burning in southern Benton County. Now, they're not burning as actively as they were over the weekend, as we're now up to 60% contained with the Les Blair Road fire. This one burning in southeastern Benton County, and the other one also burning in southeastern Benton County. The Ayers fire, 450 acres, now 80% contained, so definitely a lot of good progress made on both of those fires. Right now, you're taking a live look at Yakima. This view coming courtesy of Bi-Mart. See the camera shaking this morning. It will be a little bit breezy in the valleys for today, but nothing compared to what we saw over the weekend. Right now, temperatures in the 40s and 50s for lower elevations, 30s and 40s up in the mountains, so all of us would need some sort of jacket. But later today, it's going to be t-shirt weather, at least for lower elevations. Will be around 70 come time for lunchtime, and then up into the mid to upper 70s at the peak of daytime heating. Here's the bottom line for the forecast. Highs trending warmer. We're going to feel pretty summer-like by the end of this week, especially into the weekend. We'll keep the forecast dry. Perhaps another round of strong winds on Friday, although, again, I don't think they're going to be as strong as what we just saw over this past weekend. But I'll touch on all these points coming up on Good Morning Northwest, which starts right now.
Straight ahead on Good Morning Northwest, wildfire crews are battling flames across the region, everywhere from Franklin County to Ephrata. We'll show you where containment levels stand and also how wind is playing a major role. Also, a pedestrian seriously hurt and a suspect on the run. We break down what led to a chaotic hit-and-run crash on a busy Yakima overpass. And later on, a Benton City resident who didn't wait for help. We'll see how a Good Samaritan stepped in when a tree came crashing down on a county road. It's all on Good Morning Northwest, which starts right now.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good Morning Northwest, on your side.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jessica Jalal. It is Monday, June 2nd. We have a lot to get to this morning, so we're starting off with fire watch. As crews in multiple counties were busy throughout this weekend. In Benton County, crews are making progress on a large natural cover fire just south of Findlay, which is now known as the Les Blair Fire. Now, this fire sparked Saturday near an orchard and quickly spread in windy conditions. So far, it's burned about 510 acres, with containment estimated to be at 60%. At one point, a helicopter was assigned to assist, but it was later diverted to other higher priority incidents. Thankfully, no homes have been lost, though one metal shed had damage and some farm equipment was damaged or destroyed. Officials also say at least 2 power poles were burned, but no outages have been reported. Crews remained on site overnight and into Sunday morning, chasing down flare-ups along the train tracks as temperatures began to climb. Now, the crews are expected to stay on scene throughout the day, and this is just one of several fires sparked across the region in recent days, all fueled by high winds and dry conditions. And Benton County fire crews also responded to a fire near Meals and Ayers Road. This fire was also reported on Saturday around 7:30 in the evening, but officials believe it had been burning for some time before that call came in. Flames quickly spread through natural cover in the area, eventually burning about 450 acres. Crews continue to monitor the area throughout Sunday, with some flare-ups reported as temperatures warmed. No homes or structures were damaged, and a Franklin County Fire District 3 off-road car did overturn in the steep terrain while supporting suppression efforts. The firefighter inside was wearing a seatbelt and was not hurt, and at last check, the fire was 80% contained. And with such a high volume of fire reports, officials are looking for ways to curb the risk. That's why starting June 28th and every year moving forward, the use of any type of fireworks could be banned in Benton County under certain fire risk conditions. Between June 28th and July 5th, if the energy release component for Southeast Washington reaches 17 or higher, as determined by the Department of Natural Resources, and if that threshold is hit on or after June 19th, the Benton County Fire Marshal may declare an extreme fire danger. And once that happens, it's going to be posted on the county's website, and all fireworks will be prohibited for that period. And officials are urging residents to stay alert and check the Benton County website for updates as the 4th of July approaches. And of course, we'll also keep you updated. Now turning to crime alerts from over the weekend, in Yakima, a 64-year-old man is recovering from serious injuries this morning after a hit-and-run crash on Friday at the Nob Hill overpass. Police say a Chevy Silverado rear-ended a Honda Civic just before 12:35 p.m., pushing the Civic onto the sidewalk where it hit the pedestrian. The driver of the Silverado fled the scene before crews arrived. The victim was taken to Multi-Care Memorial and then transferred to Harborview for more advanced care. Officers say flock cameras helped them quickly identify the truck, and just before 2 p.m. they spotted it, but when they tried to pull it over, the driver took off. The pursuit ended along the railroad tracks near East Walnut Street, where the suspect tried to run but was caught and arrested. Police believe the driver was impaired at the time and now faces multiple charges. This includes DUI, vehicular assault, and felony hit and run. He'll be booked into the Yakima County Jail. Also, the city of Granger and the Granger Police Department have settled a lawsuit over a sex assault investigation which involved a former Granger police officer, and this settlement is for $700,000. The lawsuit was filed in May of 2024, and it involves Granger officer Glenn Trejo. Trejo has since left the department, and no charges were filed against him in the case. The woman who filed the lawsuit says the city and the police department were negligent in handling her case, also training employees and providing adequate supervision. A Yakima County judge granted the woman a 10-year sexual assault protection order against Trejo, and her attorney, Bill Pickett, says the goal of the lawsuit was to shine a light on the conduct and hold people accountable. He says his client can now move forward and start to heal. 2 people are under arrest following a pair of shootings in Walla Walla over the weekend, one that left a teen injured and another that nearly hit a man on a bicycle. Police say 21-year-old Eduardo Chavez Contreras and a teenage suspect were arrested Saturday at a home on Plaza Way. Chavez Contreras faces multiple charges. This includes assault, unlawful possession of a firearm, and drive-by shooting. Now, due to his prior convictions, he's not allowed to have a gun. Officers say he was behind 2 separate incidents Friday night. The first around 8 p.m., which involved shots fired at a man riding a bicycle near Chase Avenue and Myrtle Street. No one was hurt in that case, but multiple shell casings were found. And then around 10:30 p.m., a teen was shot in the leg near South Division and Hobson Street. Witnesses told police they heard yelling and a gunshot before someone rushed the victim to the hospital. Investigators believe the 2 groups first ran into each other earlier that evening at a business on Isaacs Avenue. But evidence later tied Chavez Contreras to both shootings, and Walla Walla police, SWAT, and regional partners were all involved in the arrest. The investigation remains ongoing. Moving on to local living, if you ride the bus in the Tri-Cities, changes are coming this summer that aim to make your commute faster and more efficient. Apple Valley News Now's William Albert shows us just how impactful these updates could be and how they might affect the day-to-day lives of riders across the Tri-Cities. Take a look.
More than 10,000 people ride Ben Franklin Transit every week, and now the public transportation service that has been a part of the community for years is getting some major updates. From new interline routes to added express services, transit officials say the changes are about reaching more people and improving the rider experience.
We'll be making changes to our Route 268 and combining it with some routes. So we'll be providing a Metro 2X, which will be an express service that will serve the airport, CBC, and provide more frequent service between Pasco and Richland.
Sliger says some weekend services will be scaled back, but that shift helps make weekday commutes more efficient.
We're reducing service to 7 p.m. on some select routes, but those resources will be reallocated to provide better service during peaks on weekdays.
Another goal of the changes is getting more people to the airport more reliably, something transit hasn't always been able to do in the past.
Ben Franklin Transit has provided service directly to the airport, but it wasn't productive in the past. But the airport's grown substantially since, and we think there's the demand there now, both to serve employees and any folks that don't plan to go park at the airport.
3.5 million people rode Ben Franklin Transit last year, and with that number expected to grow, these changes are hoping to better accommodate the riding public.
Sliger also says the community played a big role in shaping these updates.
We were out in the community asking them what do they want to see in the service, what can change, so we coupled that feedback with the data we're seeing in terms of where people are riding. We also get internal feedback from our operators and staff to see, again, how we can change things and improve things for folks.
Helping riders get where they need to go, and that's what Ben Franklin Transit says it's focused on, with the community in mind. In Kennewick, William Albert, Apple Valley News Now.
Thank you, William. Now, changes take effect on June 15th, and a full list of updates is now available at our website. That's applevalleynewsnow.com. And coming up next here on Good Morning Northwest, a violent attack in Colorado injures 8 people, and we have the latest developments coming up in your national headlines. But first, our Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth will have your first alert weather forecast. Keep it here. Good Morning Northwest. We'll be right back.
For 600 different cigars and 125 pipe tobaccos. For every cigar rated 96 and higher by Cigar Aficionado. For 200 accessories including dozens of humidors and fine pipes. It's the educated cigar.
Got a birthday coming up, celebrating a big win, or just want to gather the crew for a pizza and a good time? For decades, Hubby's Pizza has been the go-to spot for family, friends, and fun. Reserve your table and bring the whole gang. Kids, family, teammates, whoever loves great pizza and good vibes. Dig into your favorite pizza, hit up the fresh salad bar, and let the kids have a blast in the arcade. And if the party's at your place, no problem. Hubby's now delivers through Grubhub and DoorDash. A community tradition, a place to celebrate. Acquire the Hubby's habit today.
What makes NUU unique? The amazing customer service that we offer to our patients. They know that they're heard, that they're listened to, and we genuinely care about their well-being.
From the second I walked in that office, I felt seen, I felt heard, I didn't feel judged. It just was like, we're a team and we're gonna figure this out.
I had a rare form of breast cancer. Dr. Fedino has just been fantastic. She was really just on my side and helping me, and I'm so relieved and blessed that I went there.
I'm nowhere near diabetic, and I feel amazing. And I lost 55 pounds, and I've been able to keep it off.
She had saved my life because if she hadn't taken just that moment to ask me one extra question, I absolutely would have had an ugly cancer 6 months later.
Go to NUUWomen'sClinic.com to explore the countless ways that wellness meets beauty.
Ryan wants to get every new device that's smart. I'm wondering, how can the internet handle all of this?
We have Spectrum Internet. We use it for everything. Homework, remote work from home, doing research for trips.
Spectrum Internet allows us to do things faster and more conveniently.
I feel like that's a win-win for everybody.
Fast, reliable internet starting at $30 a month, backed by the Spectrum commitment to keep you connected.
This morning on GMA, Elizabeth Moss and Max Minghella on The Handmaid's Tale finale. And then this week, it's Keanu Reeves, Zoe Saldana, Sydney Sweeney, and Julianne Moore, and Super Bowl champ Saquon Barkley. All on Buenos Dias, America.
Operation Best Friend, sponsored by As You Wish Real Estate Services, Christine Connolly, Realtor.
From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Let's go ahead and take you on a zone-by-zone tour of this morning's temperatures. We start off in Kittitas County, where it's chilly up towards Cle Elum and Snoqualmie Pass. Those temperatures in the upper 30s, upper 40s, though, for Ellensburg. We're in the low 50s down towards Vantage. And then in the Yakima Valley, we're spanning from, I think, 48 to 52. So 48 down towards Grandview, 52 up towards Yakima. And then for the lower Columbia Basin, we're seeing temperatures that are mostly in the, well, they're all in the 40s and 50s. Do have some lower 30s down towards Hermiston, but 51 for the Tri-Cities, 48 up towards Mesa, 40s and 50s for the Blue Foothills, 30s and 40s up in higher terrain of the Blue Mountains. Here's your coatcast for today for the Tri-Cities. Going to go with a light jacket for this morning. Should mostly be t-shirt weather by 10 a.m., 66 degrees. Just kind of depends on how warm or cold-blooded you are. But into the afternoon, definitely some t-shirt weather. It's going to be a gorgeous spring-like day out there. As for lower elevations, highs are going to span from the mid-70s to the low 80s. Plenty of sunshine. And throughout the rest of this week, we're just going to gradually get warmer and warmer to the point where by the end of the week, into the weekend, it's going to feel pretty summer-like once again. So I'll tell you just how hot it could be coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. In your national headlines this morning, an investigation continues into a violent attack at a pro-Israel event in Boulder, Colorado. Nicole D'Antonio has all the details.
This morning, multiple people are hospitalized with burns after an attack in Boulder, Colorado.
There's multiple mixed reports about if people are on fire or not. We're getting lots of 911 calls.
Police say a suspect used a makeshift flamethrower to spray flames into a crowd at a pro-Israel event while shouting "Free Palestine." The event, a walk to raise awareness about Israeli hostages held by Hamas since the October 7th attacks.
It's very scary and it's a huge shock. It's a big thing that, sadly we've experienced before, but it's really scary and it's really upsetting that it's happening in Boulder.
The victims were all taken to the hospital, including one person with serious injuries.
But I saw fire, I saw people falling and screaming and crying and tripping.
Authorities identified the suspect as 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Solomon. The Boulder County DA says decisions about what charges to file and in which courts will be made in the coming days. The incident is what federal law enforcement officials are calling a targeted terror attack.
Sadly, attacks like this are becoming too common across the country.
This latest attack comes at a time of heightened violence, including high-profile incidents against the Jewish community. Last month, 2 Israeli embassy staffers were shot and killed while leaving an event at a Jewish museum in Washington, D.C. And in Pennsylvania, a man was arrested after allegedly throwing bottles full of gasoline into the home of Governor Josh Shapiro on the first night of Passover. New data shows more than 9,300 anti-Semitic incidents across the U.S. last year, marking an 893% increase in anti-Semitism over the past 10 years.
Now, Boulder's Jewish community put out a joint statement, and they say in part, "Our hearts go out to those who witnessed this horrible attack and prayers for a speedy recovery to those who were injured." And of course, we'll keep you updated as more information comes in. Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, Josh Colbreth has how this week's weather is looking. That's coming up in his First Alert weather forecast, full forecast, which is right after the break.
For 600 different cigars and 125 pipe tobaccos. For every cigar rated 96 and higher by Cigar Aficionado. For 200 accessories including dozens of humidors and fine pipes. It's the educated cigar.
It's not easy being Mariano Morales' horse. He needs to ride to clients all the time. He does take care of them. He gets the insurance company to pay for medical bills, car repairs, even money for pain and suffering. Looks like it's going to be another busy day. Better get warmed up. After all, I am his best friend.
Hurt in a car wreck? Give me a call.
Big or small, we work them all.
I'm attorney Mariano Morales, the heavy hitter.
The heavy hitter is the one for you. Call 853-2222.
Right now at US Cellular, you can get 4 free phones plus 4 lines for $90.
Hey, we're tired of having the wool pulled over our eyes with these hidden requirements. What aren't we seeing?
Yeah. Do we get our choice of free phones?
Yep, you get the latest phones.
I bet we have to trade in our old phones, though.
Nope, sure don't.
Wow.
High five. Almost. Higher. Yes. Nope.
Get 4 phones plus 4 lines for $90 with no trade-in. And we'll pay off your current contract when you switch. US Cellular, built for us.
Get ready, Walla Walla. The sweetest season is here. Join us at the ballpark as the Walla Walla Sweets hit the field for another unforgettable season. Whether you're a diehard fan or just looking for a fun night out, there's something for everyone at a Walla Walla Sweets game. Grab your peanuts, popcorn, and Lucky Cap, because this season the Walla Walla Sweets are bringing the thrill of baseball right to your backyard. Don't miss out on the excitement. Get your tickets now and be part of the Walla Walla Sweets experience. Let's play ball.
Kittitas Valley Healthcare is your trusted home for health, offering expert orthopedic care for your family. With over 55 years of combined experience, our team uses state-of-the-art equipment to improve surgical outcomes and provide compassionate, patient-centered care. We're committed to making your experience comfortable and efficient, so you can stay active and healthy. Learn more and schedule a consultation through our website at kvhealthcare.org. Your home for health.
It is Operation Best Friend every Wednesday as we feature lovable pets from area shelters all looking for their forever homes. Operation Best Friend from Christine Connolly, As You Wish Real Estate Services, and the Manthei Group Cross Country Mortgage.
Spectacular Boundary Dam. Fly the Northwest. Apple Valley News Now at 6 Tuesday. From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Today is going to be a beautiful day out there. We'll have mostly sunny skies and high temperatures are going to feel normal for the second day of June. So that means we'll have 70s and 80s for lower elevations, 60s up in the mountains, at least 60s up in the Cascades. It looks like it's going to be 50s and 60s up in the Blues. Then for tonight, clear skies. Overnight lows going to drop down into the 40s and 50s for lower elevations, 30s and 40s up in the mountains. Wind's going to be a little bit breezy throughout the day. They're going to ramp up a bit, though, for tonight, specifically after 5 p.m. in the Cascades and in the valleys. Peak gusts out of the north and west between 15 to 30 miles per hour. But again, nothing in comparison to this weekend, this past weekend. And then for tomorrow, another round of winds, this time a little bit more expansive, a little bit stronger. Some of those peak gusts getting to around 40 miles per hour in the Kittitas Valley, but still really pales in comparison to what we had this past Saturday. High temperatures just going to gradually step up their game all throughout the week, and by the time we get to Thursday, really Thursday and beyond, it's going to feel summer-like once again. We'll be into the mid-90s as soon as Sunday in the Tri-Cities. That'll place us at about 15-ish degrees warmer than normal for this time of the year. Unfortunately, not a drop of rain in the forecast for the next 7 days, so our fuels are going to get dry. The fire setup for this weekend is looking pretty interesting once again, so we will certainly have more to say about that throughout the rest of the week. Here is the 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities. 80s through Wednesday, then a return to the 90s for Thursday through Sunday. In Yakima, mostly sunny throughout the week, although we could have a few more clouds on Friday, otherwise warming up throughout the week. In Ellensburg, finally some calmer winds this week, although we'll have consistent breezes, and those could certainly ramp up by Friday. In Hermiston, highs in the 80s through Thursday, then it will be some more Fridays for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then for Walla Walla, mostly sunny skies throughout the week with highs transitioning from spring-like to summer-like.
Next on Good Morning Northwest, get the squirrels out of your pants because Disney's favorite brothers and nosy big sister are making a comeback. We're talking about Phineas and Ferb. It's coming back, and the details are coming up in your entertainment headlines, which is right after the break.
Hit by a big truck in bad weather? There's a law that says truck drivers have a legal duty to use extreme caution when driving in hazardous conditions. Hit by a big truck? I'm attorney Mariano Morales, the big truck heavy hitter.
Call 853-2222.
Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling award-winning vehicles right here in America. And now we've lowered MSRP on Rogue and Pathfinder at the Nissan Summer Sales Event.
Now get up to $6,000 total savings on Frontier.
It's the Red, White, and Blue sale at More Furniture, and we're bringing you unbeatable savings on premium mattresses. Choose from brands like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Sealy. Plus, during the Red, White, and Blue sale, you'll get our very best offer, 72 months interest-free financing. That's 72 equal monthly payments with absolutely no interest and no money down. We'll also provide free white glove delivery and removal of your old mattress. Only at More Furniture, where everyone gets more for less.
Welcome to Pasco, where we are building a community rooted in culture. Check out the Farmers Market downtown at Peanuts Park, Saturdays from May through October. Taste something new at one of our diverse local restaurants, the Pasco Specialty Kitchen vendor windows, or our growing food truck scene. And enjoy the natural beauty of our waterfront parks and the Sacagawea Heritage Trail. Shop small, explore local, and experience the spirit of Pasco. Naturally transformative.
Summer's heating up. That means it's time to dive in. Pasco's Memorial Aquatic Park opens Saturday, June 14th. Get signed up for swim lessons, grab your season passes, and don't miss your chance to join the Pasco swim team. Looking to cool off? Open swim runs daily from 1 to 5:45 p.m. So grab the family and come make a splash. It's all happening at the Pasco Memorial Aquatic Park. Your summer fun starts here.
Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling award-winning vehicles right here in America. And now we've lowered MSRP on Rogue and Pathfinder at the Nissan Summer Sales Event.
Now get 0% APR for 60 months on Pathfinder.
Hit by a big truck in bad weather? There's a law that says truck drivers have a legal duty to use extreme caution when driving in hazardous conditions. Hit by a big truck? I'm attorney Mariano Morales, the big truck heavy hitter.
Call 853-2222.
Early warnings, accurate forecasts.
Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. In your entertainment headlines, we're talking about TV shows.
Mom, Phineas and Ferb are making a comeback.
That's right. The animated adventures of Phineas and Ferb are set to make a return this week. And Rick Damigella has all the details.
I know that technically the first day of summer's tomorrow, but today is the last day of school.
Phineas and Ferb and their friends are back in all new animated adventures.
There's 104 days of summer vacation before the school year arrives.
The show's creators were definitely up for the challenge.
And we were a little trepidatious when they wanted 40 more episodes. We were like, well, that sounds like fun, but are we going to spend so much of that time in the writer's room going, no, we already did that. We already did that. We already did, we've done a lot of episodes of this show.
The joke I always make is that we bought a random good idea generator at a garage sale years ago. But the truth is we're really open to ideas from everybody. And we've gotten some of our best ideas from production people on the show.
Summer is starting right now. Summer is starting right now.
And here's a refresher of the voices behind the characters.
I've been playing Phineas for almost 20 years, and to get to play a character that means so much to so many people on a show that means so much is really great.
I pinch myself every day I get to go in because I'm the luckiest Phineas and Ferb fan in the world, because not only do I get to be involved, I get to be one of the title characters.
I voiced Candace Flynn. She is the sister of Phineas and Ferb, and she desperately is trying to bust her brothers every episode.
I play Linda Flynn Fletcher, Candace's mother to Phineas and Ferb, and I guess mother to Perry the Platypus in some non-biological way.
This is like the best reunion. It feels like going home, but also going to camp, but also meeting new friends at school.
Isn't it great? It's like old times. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Perry the Platypus!
That whole story was just a wave of nostalgia. Like, I remember her, I remember her.
We didn't know she played the voice and she played the voice. Yeah. Oh, so many good ones. But I'm excited for this because I love this show. It was a little after my time, like with cartoons, but I always went back to watch it because it was just that good.
See, we were strictly a Nickelodeon household, so we kind of had like...
Gotta do all of them.
We had a little beef with Phineas and Ferb, but no, it's good to see it making a comeback.
All right, coming up next here on Good Morning Northwest, a Benton City resident who didn't wait for help. We'll see how a Good Samaritan stepped in when a tree came crashing down on a county road. That's coming up in your next half hour, but first we're going to check out your Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, a warning for users of Microsoft Authenticator. The free app known for providing two-factor authentication for online accounts is phasing out its password management and autofill features. The move is aimed at streamlining passwords on Microsoft Edge. Users have been told to save all their passwords before August. Next, Apple is reportedly preparing a significant overhaul of its Shortcuts app. It's a tool involving the integration of AI capabilities, letting users create and automate tasks on Apple devices. The upgrade is supposed to happen this year, but could slip into 2026. And finally, the long-awaited Instagram app for the iPad is reportedly coming soon. According to Bloomberg, Meta is actively testing the app, and it's expected to be released this year. Until then, iPad users will continue to have to use the iPhone app for Instagram zoomed in. Took long enough. I never met an app that wasn't already on the iPad. Those are your Tech Bites.
Do you own a dishwasher but only use it for storage or as a drying rack? Get better results than hand washing with your dishwasher and Cascade Complete. Your dishwasher does the work for you with temperatures up to 140 degrees, too hot for hands. Some dishwashers even have a sanitizing cycle. Load pots, pans, and tableware at the bottom with plastic and glassware on top. Cascade Complete removes visible and invisible residue for virtually spot-free and shiny dishes. Switch to your dishwasher and Cascade Complete.
Dulcolax.
Good morning. Hey. Good morning. Yeah.
New Dulcolax Liquid Gel reactivates your natural gut rhythm overnight for relief that feels amazing. New Dulcolax Liquid Gel.
Our brains are incredible, but memory can get complicated. That's why we created new Nariva Memory 3D. It supports your short-term, long-term, and working memory. Take it from me. An elephant never forgets. Remember Nariva.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good morning, Northwest. On your side.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jessica Jalal.
And I'm Josh Colbert.
All right, Josh, I've been gone for a little while. How has your 3-degree guarantee been doing?
It's still going up. But
No way.
I ran this scenario in my head, like, what if I lost as soon as she came back?
I'd be like, you loser. No, I wouldn't do that. So what is it at right now?
It's at $900. So if it happens, it's going to happen this week. It's going to happen on Thursday.
This is the best news I've ever heard.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Look at you go. All right,
let's go ahead and let's take a look at the numbers from Friday. I went with the forecast high of 87 in Pasco Tri-Cities, verified at 85. So the jackpot, yep, it hit $900. So it's nervous time this week. So for today, I'm going with forecast high of 80 in Pasco Tri-Cities. If it verifies between 77 and 83, the jackpot's going to hit $925. If that doesn't happen, the jackpot could be yours. Find out how to win the jackpot by going to applevalleyNewsNow.com, clicking on the contest page. You can scan the QR code that's on your screen. Now what's on your screen is a live look at Kennewick. This view coming courtesy of Yakima Federal. You see, looks like there's sunny skies out there, at the very least, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures right now 40s and 50s for lower elevations, 30s up in the Cascades. Looks like 30s and 40s up in the blue. So all of us, of course, need some sort of jacket for this morning, but as we head into the afternoon, no jacket's going to be necessary, as high temperature is going to end up feeling pretty normal for the second day of June. So that means mid to upper 70s in places like the Kittitas Valley, the Yakima Valley, the Bluefoot Hills of Walla Walla County, could touch 80 in the lower Columbia Basin. But I'll take you on that zone by zone tour of today's beautiful forecast. Also, I'll show you what some of that fire fuel energy and data is looking like. So all that's going to be coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Starting off this half hour of news in Benton County, where a quick-thinking citizen is being credited with clearing a major traffic hazard in Benton City. Deputies responded to Lower River Road near Massingale Road after a tree fell across the roadway. But before Benton County crews could get there, a concerned citizen showed up with the backhoe and removed the tree, keeping traffic moving. Officials say a water main break on the hill caused the tree to fall, and Benton County road crews and Kiona Irrigation are now working to repair the break and prevent further damage. The Sheriff's Office thanked the community for stepping up, calling the swift action much appreciated. Talking about fires now, we're learning more about a controlled burn north of Ephrata that sparked a wildfire over the weekend. The fire broke out at the 1900 block of Highway 28 West, burning about 6 acres before crews got it under control. Firefighters from Ephrata and Grant County Fire Districts 3 and 7 responded quickly, keeping flames from jumping the train tracks and threatening nearby wildlands. Officials say the wind-driven fire had major growth potential, especially near the airport and Highway 17, but teamwork made all the difference. One power pole was damaged and a small portion of federal land burned. Grant PUD is working on repairs, and both BLM and the U.S. Forest Service assisted. Law enforcement has contacted the person responsible for the original burn. And the Ancient Lakes Recreation Area remains closed today after a wildland fire broke out over the weekend, and this happened near Quincy. The fire sparked late Saturday night, burning through sagebrush and grass in windy conditions, and by early Sunday morning, it had grown to about 200 acres. Several campers in the area chose to evacuate as a precaution. Firefighters from multiple agencies worked overnight to contain the fire, and thanks to their efforts, forward progress was stopped. No structures were threatened, and there is no risk to the public, though officials are asking the public to stay clear of the Ancient Lakes area until it fully reopens. And it was a dangerous weekend across much of eastern Washington as extreme wind, wildfire smoke, and dust created treacherous conditions on the road. Authorities believe this is what led to a deadly chain reaction crash that shut down a stretch of State Route 395 in Franklin County. This happened just before 4:30 Saturday afternoon, about 4 miles north of Connell, and according to the Washington State Patrol, extreme winds pushed dust and wildfire smoke across the highway, severely limiting visibility. That's when several cars slowed down or pulled over, and a tragic series of collisions followed that. In total, 4 semi-trucks and 4 other cars were involved. 29-year-old Andrew Thomas of Spokane was driving a van and died at the scene. 2 others were taken to the hospital with injuries. 3 more were treated on site. WSP says 1 semi rear-ended another, setting off that chain reaction, and both northbound lanes on SR 395 were closed for nearly 6 hours while crews cleared the scene. Now to a crime alert in Yakima County, where the sheriff's office is asking for your help in identifying a woman who dumped a dog at the Cowiche Canyon trailhead on Wikili Road. So take a look at your screen. The woman was seen opening the back of her car, grabbing the dog by the collar, and then throwing it to the ground. She then closes the back of her car, gets in the driver's seat, and takes off, leaving the dog behind. The Yakima County Sheriff's Office says animal abandonment is a crime. If you know who she is, turn her into the Yakima County Sheriff's Office. The dog is being taken care of, as officials say, and they say a loving home will be found soon. Now, as temperatures are getting hotter, there is now a new way to cool off in Kennewick. The city celebrated the grand opening of a new splash pad at Kenneth Serrier Memorial Pool. This project was funded through a community development block grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and the city says parks and recreational space is about belonging, and everyone should have access to quality resources.
That's what Parks and Rec does, is we provide them with green spaces to come out, to recreate. We provide them with amenities that both allow them to have this positivity in their free time, but it also connects the community, right? I mean, when you come here to a place like this, I have a 2.5-year-old at home, and you come there and kids don't care. They come in and they play, and the amenities, they play on the playground, they get in the splash pad, there's all of a sudden this connection. And that's what community is, right? It's about making those connections.
The splash pad has an inclusive design for children of different heights and abilities. It's currently open Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., but the hours of operation will change to include Monday through Friday after June 14th. Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, we have a pretty sweet story. We're talking about the Walla Walla Sweets game. Dan Hansen has a look at what's new for the team, and Josh will have another look at your weather forecast. It's all after the break.
Spectacular Boundary Dam. Fly the Northwest. Apple Valley News Now at 6 Tuesday.
For 600 different cigars and 125 pipe tobaccos. For every cigar rated 96 and higher by Cigar Aficionado. For 200 accessories including dozens of humidors and fine pipes. It's the educated cigar.
Hit by a big truck in bad weather? There's a law that says truck drivers have a legal duty to use extreme caution when driving in hazardous conditions. Knowing these laws sets my truck wreck team apart. I'm attorney Mariano Morales, the big truck heavy hitter. Big truck insurance companies know that we have the knowledge and experience to get you paid everything you deserve. Hit by a big truck? Our team knows truck wrecks and how to win for you. I'm attorney Mariano Morales, the big truck heavy hitter.
The heavy hitter is the one for you. Call 853-2222.
Ever feel like something's missing? Like there's a hole in your morning routine? Well, we've got just the thing. At Some Bagels, we make more than fresh bagels. We make a variety of baked goods to fill your day with everything you've been missing. Have your favorite coffee drink with our in-house roasted espresso beans. And enjoy your bagel with our flavored cream cheeses. Because at Some Bagels, the only thing better than the hole in the middle is everything around it. I want some, you want some, we want some, gimme Some Bagels.
At Bruce Heating and Air, your comfort is our business. With over 30 years of professional HVAC experience for residential and commercial properties, you can rest assured your heating and air system is in good hands. In addition to providing quality heating, air conditioning, ventilation, and installation services, Bruce Heating and Air also houses a full-service sheet metal fabrication shop.
Now through June 30th, receive rebates up to $4,500 off on a new Daikin Fit system when you finance through Bruce Heating and Air.
Did you know Astria Health has the only team of neurosurgeons in the Lower Valley? Patients no longer need to travel long distances to receive the spine care they need. Patients with spinal tumors, stenosis, herniated or degenerative disc diseases, spine trauma, fractures, or spinal cord injury can be seen by an Astria neurosurgeon in Prosser, Sunnyside, or Zillah. Ask your primary care provider for a referral to one of our neurosurgeons. Astria Health, exceptional rural health care close to home.
It is Operation Best Friend every Wednesday as we feature lovable pets from area shelters all looking for their forever homes. Operation Best Friend from Christine Connolly, As You Wish Real Estate Services, and the Manthei Group Cross Country Mortgage.
It all comes down to this. We will know who will be advancing to the finals.
Who's destined to go all the way?
I would never use a word like destiny, but sure.
The epic conclusion of Jeopardy Masters. Primetime finale event, Wednesday at 8/7 Central.
For the team ready to conquer the grandest stage, immortality awaits. An unforgettable journey is nearing its finale. The NBA Finals begin June 5th on ABC.
From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbert.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Let's go ahead and take you on a zone-by-zone tour of today's forecast. We start off in Kittitas County. Will be a little bit breezy for today with some of those breezes out of the north and west, but otherwise definitely a much better day as opposed to Saturday of highs in the mid-70s in Ellensburg. Mostly sunny skies, and then in the Yakima Valley, we should end up in the upper 70s, also mostly sunny here. And then for the lower Columbia Basin, we'll be right around 80 degrees, 80 for the Tri-Cities, 80 for Benton City. Thinking the winds are going to be pretty light. And then for the Blue Foothills, could have some breezes out of the north and northeast. That's going to bring some pretty dry air into these parts. High is going to be in the 70s for the Blue Foothills, 50s and 60s up in the higher terrain of the Blue Mountains. Now let's talk about the fire fuel energy out there, the vegetation dryness, if you will, for today. Remember, 100% would mean that would be the microclimate's driest vegetation since 2000. We're going to be at 94% in the Cascades in the lower Yakima Basin, so very dry out that way. An elevated level of dryness for the upper Yakima Basin in the Cascades and the Northern Blues, and then just run-of-the-mill, a medium level of dryness for the Kittitas Valley, Yakima Valley, Lower Columbia Basin, Blue Foothills, and Southern Blues. Now, thankfully, these numbers are going to improve over the next few days as we're going to get more moisture in the air, but I'm thinking that these numbers are going to start to trend worse as we head into this weekend with some much hotter weather on the way. I'll tell you just how hot coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Talking sports now. Oh, how sweet it is. If you've ever been to a Walla Walla Sweets game, you know it's one of the best sports experiences in Eastern Washington. And this summer, the West Coast League is back at the historic stadium. Dan Hansen has a look at what's new and who's back for the Sweets.
The smell of popcorn, the crack of the bat, and that unmistakable Sweets energy. Baseball is back in Walla Walla.
It's absolutely incredible. I think not only calling it home for the Sweets, but also for Whitman. That's one thing I was really looking forward to coming back, is getting to coach in the same hitting facility that I spent so many hours in as a player.
Assistant coach Leo Rivera isn't the only one bringing some homegrown heat to the Sweets dugout this summer. He's joined by Raul Camacho and Elijah Maris. New names, fresh energy, and a whole lot of potential for this year's squad.
Well, right now you can see the flags blowing pretty good to left. You don't got to do too much. As long as we stay in the ground, do some damage to the middle of the field, swing at the good pitches, then we're going to be just fine.
The Sweets are a summer collegiate team, pulling in talent from colleges all over the country, like outfielder Cole Rogers from New Mexico State, who's already bringing some serious speed to the bases.
Getting on base and stealing, that's my game right there. I've always just been a base stealer, so any way I can help the team out and, get on base and, steal some bags, that's my game.
Rogers signed in June thanks to a coaching connection.
My coaches over at New Mexico State actually know Coach Colby, so they kind of had that connection and they got me connected sometime mid to late fall. And then I signed the contract early June.
After a fifth-place finish last season at 12-16, the Sweets are swinging for more wins in 2024. They'll open the season on the road against Springfield before heading back to Borleski for their home opener on June 6th against the Ridgefield Raptors. So whether it's ballpark snacks, the summer nights, or just good old baseball, one thing's for sure, it's looking like another sweet summer in Walla Walla. Reporting in Walla Walla, Dan Hansen, Apple Valley News Now.
Thank you, Dan. Now for more information, just head to our website. That's applevalleynewsnow.com. And in other sports news, the Tri-City Americans will be looking for a new head coach next season. Stu Barnes has informed the organization that he will not be returning for the 2025 to 2026 campaign. Barnes called it one of the toughest decisions of his career, saying he'll miss working with the team every day. A former star with the Americans and also an NHL veteran, Barnes has coached the Tri-City Ams for the past 4 seasons, earning playoff berths in 2023 and 2025. He also took home U.S. Division Coach of the Year honors in 2023, and although he's stepping down as coach, Barnes will remain a minority owner and continue to work in an advisory role.
Something he's been thinking about, biggest thing in credit that goes to Stu and also to Ole is people forget that 20 years ago this team was done and gone, and without the ownership group of Ole Kolzig and Stu and myself and Dennis Lohman, the team would have been gone. So credit Stu. Stu gets a lot more credit than just being a coach and a minority owner or an owner gets credit for saving this franchise and making sure it was here long term.
Now, Barnes played 2 seasons for the Ams before a 16-year NHL career, suiting up for over 1,000 games. And Barnes says he's exploring new professional opportunities. And Torrey says the team will begin its search for his replacement in the coming weeks. And he also says they're in no rush to name a replacement, but rather focusing on finding the right person for the job. Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, we've got your morning sprint, everything you need to know before you head out the door, and Josh will be back with your full First Alert weather forecast. It's all right after the break.
Desert sun and water fun. Summertime makes you feel more alive. But in the interest of your well-being, make sure you observe all safety rules and be careful while you're having fun.
At Smoke City for Less, we understand every smoker is unique. Explore our over 1,500 vape flavors and specialty curated selection of tobacco products. Your perfect flavor and blend awaits at any of Smoke City for Less 6 locations. Save your pennies. Smoke City for Less has the lowest prices. Find the best vape mods, batteries, kratom, and specialty products too. Our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to provide personalized recommendations. Smoke City for Less. We smoke the competition.
Today, too many of us walk away from our primary care appointments feeling rushed and unheard.
We were frustrated too, so we decided to change the quality of healthcare here in the Tri-Cities.
At Primary Care at the PC, we take the time to truly listen. With 1-hour-long appointments, we care about the whole you. You don't have to be a member to be our patient, but once you're here, you might want to be.
Now welcoming new patients. Book your appointments online or call us at 509-783-5465. Primary Care at the PC. Play hard, live well.
For 600 different cigars and 125 pipe tobaccos. For every cigar rated 96 and higher by Cigar Aficionado. For 200 accessories including dozens of humidors and fine pipes. It's the educated cigar.
Vance Heating and Air has been keeping Yakima homes cool since 1986. If your air conditioner needs service this summer, we'll take $86 off the cost of any AC repair. Don't leave it to chance. Call Vance.
Most people who have lived through an opioid overdose have something in common. They didn't do it alone. Someone was there when they OD'd. Someone had naloxone. Someone called for help. So, if you use opioids like fentanyl, know who your someone is. Use with them when you can. Have naloxone with you. And make sure your someone is ready to help you if you need it. Just like you would for them.
Desert sun and water fun. Summertime makes you feel more alive. But in the interest of your well-being, make sure you observe all safety rules and be careful while you're having fun.
Judy Justice, today at 4 on Apple Valley News Now.
From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colberth.
Well, Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Today is going to be a beautiful day out there, mostly sunny skies. We'll have high temperatures that'll be normal for the second day of June. So that means 70s and 80s for lower elevations, 60s up in the Cascades, 50s and 60s up in the Blue. So definitely a lot cooler compared to what we saw for this weekend. And then for tonight, clear skies out there. Overnight low is going to be down in the 40s and 50s for lower elevations, 30s and 40s up in the Cascades and the Blues. We will have, so there are going to be some breezes across the map for today, but for tonight, they could turn a little bit stronger in the valleys, peak gusts between 15 to 30 miles per hour, but this is certainly going to be nothing to write home about. And then we'll have another round of winds for tomorrow evening, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. This time a little bit more expansive, the wind gusts a little bit more strong, up around 40 miles per hour in the Kittitas Valley. But again, really pales in comparison to the wind/dust storm that we saw on Saturday. High temperatures all throughout the week. Just, there's no one day where we're going to have a huge jump up in temperatures, but just sort of this gradual uptick in high temperatures all throughout the week. And I'd really say from Thursday on, we're going to transition from feeling spring-like to more summer-like. We could be back into the mid-90s in the Tri-Cities as soon as Sunday. And the rain chances over the next 7 days, forget about it, folks. It's going to be pretty dry out there. And so we'll see what that ends up doing to our vegetation dryness. The air is certainly going to be pretty dry for this weekend. So it looks like Sunday, if there is a day that has the best chances for fire starts, looks like Sunday would probably be that day. But around this time of the year, you have to exercise fire safety day in and day out. Here is the 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities, 80s through Wednesday, then a return to the 90s for Thursday through Sunday. In Yakima, mostly sunny throughout the week, although we could have a few more clouds on Friday, otherwise warming up throughout the week. In Ellensburg, finally some calmer winds this week, although we'll have consistent breezes, and those could certainly ramp up by Friday. In Hermiston, highs in the 80s through Thursday, then it'll be some more 90s for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Finally, for Walla Walla, mostly sunny skies throughout the week with highs transitioning from spring-like to summer-like.
Now, the morning sprint.
5:51, it's time for your morning sprint in our 5 o'clock hour, and we're starting off with the top 5 local stories that you need to know. First up, it's been a busy start to June for fire crews across the region. Firefighters are making progress on several wildfires. The Ayers fire is now 80% contained after burning roughly 450 acres. Nearby, the Les Blair fire south of Findlay is holding at 510 acres with 60% containment. And in Ephrata, a wind-driven blaze sparked by a controlled burn was contained after burning 6 acres. In Franklin County, 1 person was killed and 5 others hurt in a multi-car pileup involving 4 cars and 4 semi-trucks. Officials say thick smoke and blowing dust from nearby fires made visibility nearly impossible. Several cars slowed down or pulled over, which caused a series of crashes. And we're told by officials that 1 person died in their van. In Walla Walla, 2 suspects have been arrested following 2 separate shootings Friday night, one involving a teen who was shot in the leg. Police say the suspects were tracked down using witness statements and evidence that tied them to both incidents. In Benton City, a quick-thinking resident used a backhoe to clear a fallen tree from Lower River Road. Officials say a water main break triggered the collapse. No injuries were reported, and crews are working to repair the break. Also looking ahead, fireworks may be banned in Benton County, and this 4th of July if fire risk conditions reach dangerous levels. Officials are urging residents to check the county website for updates as the holiday approaches. Now to your national headlines this morning. There seems to be a ratcheting up of tension between the U.S. and China. In a statement today, the Chinese Commerce Ministry accused the U.S. of, quote, provoking new economic and trade frictions, and China blamed the U.S. for taking steps that seriously undermine their agreement. It comes in response to President Donald Trump's claims on Friday that Beijing had violated their trade truce from last month, which paused their blistering tariff war. A key point of contention has been Beijing's export controls on rare earth minerals and associated products, which are an essential part of everything from iPhones and electric cars to big-ticket weapons like F-35 fighter jets and missile systems. Following their agreement, U.S. officials had expected China to ease export restrictions of those minerals, but China has not yet lifted those restrictions. In your business headlines this morning, more than 170,000 cars are being recalled by the Volkswagen Group of America. The Virginia-based automaker says a glitch in the rear-view cameras can cause distorted images for the driver. In addition to posing a potential crash hazard, this flaw also means the cars fail to comply with federal motor vehicle safety requirements. This recall is for 2024 and 2025 versions of the Atlas, including the Cross Sport. And Americans are pinching pennies a little tighter. Consumer spending increased by 0.2% in April, and that's according to the latest data from the Commerce Department. But that's lower than many analysts had expected and is a significant drop from the 0.7 point the rise the prior month. Analysts say the surge in March was likely caused by people making major purchases like new cars in advance of expected price hikes from the Trump administration's tariff policies. Meanwhile, the Commerce Department's findings also show inflation has cooled off, falling closer to the Federal Reserve's target goal of 2%. In your health news, newly released research shows promising findings on colorectal cancer treatment and prevention. The studies were presented at the annual meeting of the American Society of Clinical Oncology. One study looked at 900 colon cancer patients, and it found a 28% reduction in the risk of recurrence or new cancer for patients on a regular exercise program. Researchers said walking briskly for an hour a few times a week, along with eating leafy greens, made a big difference. And the exercise program was found to prevent 1 out of every 16 patients from developing recurrent or new cancer. All right, trending this morning, most of Earth's gold lies trapped in the planet's molten core, but it's making its way to the surface.
That's right. A new analysis of volcanic rocks in Hawaii suggests gold and other precious metals, such as platinum, are escaping up into the mantle.
Researchers saw traces of a rare silver gray metal that was likely more abundant in Earth's early building materials, and that's when the core developed about 4.5 billion years ago. As volcanic islands form, gold and other metals eventually make their way to the surface.
And researchers say more of the precious metals will probably emerge if Earth's metallic core continues to leak.
So we should get there and start digging it up and then make millions?
I think so. And
yeah.
Wasn't there a movie, Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yeah,
Brendan Fraser, Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah. Someone else was in it, but I forgot.
Yeah, throwback.
Vanessa Hudgens, right? No, is that a different movie?
That sounds right.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of throwbacks this
So that's
morning.
what we got to do.
Yeah.
There's our team right there. All right, keep it here because coming up next on Good Morning Northwest at 6, if you ride the bus, changes are coming to the BFT bus routes, and we'll tell you all about it. Plus the latest developments on a mass stabbing in Oregon, what police know so far. And Josh, what are you tracking for us?
Yeah, I'll show you the active fires that are still burning in the region. Granted, they're not burning nearly as hot as they were on Saturday, but still some leftover fires. And also I'll show you a beautiful forecast ahead for this Monday. All that coming up on Good Morning Northwest at 6.